Oh, hello. Urban Exit Studio.
We are live. It says
We
so
are
on the
live.
screen.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Oh, someone else is joining. Bruce, can you join him in? Because it's a lot harder with this.
Okay. Yeah, let me see. Add to stage. Oh, he's trouble.
There we go. Trouble keeps coming. Urban Link Exit Studio, highly congested city.
Oh.
Yes, well
My
done.
camera was unplugged. Why was my camera unplugged?
it's all going awfully well. It's all going awfully well today.
Well camera was unplugged. Why was my camera unplugged?
Hello, Mark. So Urban X, yeah, Johnny D noticed the thumbnail I used, and for years I've been saying if you get one of those CES awards, it's like a nail in the coffin of your business. I can't think of anyone that's got one of those CES awards and has continued to crack on and done well. Yeah, Urban Link X. So it's craziness. So I had to mention that. I definitely had to mention that. And whilst Bruce is, but I believe there's a council meeting going on right now, isn't there, Bruce? Maybe they've started the censorship.
Can you still hear me?
Can still hear you, sadly. Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My webcam just seems to have decided to die for some reason. I've no idea why.
Oh, well, we'll have to run with it like that. As you can see, my powers. A schoolboy error. Got the match ready to light. Can't see where I put the matchbox. There it is. Right. So where was Motor Trend's car? Oh, I don't know about Motor Trends Awards, MTV. Yeah, Kiss of Death. Right. Let's get the power on here. The one candle power. There we go. Right, we're away. So just as we were beginning to chat at the beginning, Ian, you mentioned something had been on, or I think Bruce saw it first. Yeah, Bruce is in solidarity.
Bruce saw it first, yeah.
So Southern Hemisphere darkness. What has been said on CNN in the very recent past?
I've just been watching it while this has been on, and I have to have volume, otherwise.
Oh, no, it's not my webcam because I've just connected another one and it's not working either. Something strange has gone. I might disappear and come back and see if that fixes it.
All right then.
No.
So, yeah, but I mean, I could see just from the images, which is you can see what
now I've lost sound as well. Oh,
you haven't? We can hear you.
I'll be back.
Okay. So, yeah, this CNN report's doing the drone drama where they, funnily enough, they're trying to represent drones as they are today by the consumers that are flying them about, and they're all matrices. Who'd have thought, every consumer's flying a matrice. There's a load of big drones, and then there's just an avatar at the end, so it's doing again. And some of that was, they put the image over when they purchased it from stock, like Getty Images or whatever. So they picked out the scariest looking stuff they could put onto the little piece that they've done, which doesn't surprise me. And yes, as noted by Bruce on his Twitter when he stumbled across it, they've brought Gatwick into it again. Hey, you can't get on about drones without mentioning the G word, especially without looking up any of Samira's story or any of the Freedom of Information sins, which tell you that actually you haven't really got a very strong narrative when you start bringing that into the mix again. But yeah, there you go.
Yes.
I don't know if you have already, but you can put it in the comments so that people watch it so can have a look later.
I can't from a phone. I can't.
Oh right, okay. And I don't know how to on here.
You'll have to wait for Bruce. When Bruce has the keys. In fact, you can add extra people to be admins on this. And now all it ever does is say, hello, Bruce, when I log in. So he's actually hijacked this stream. I don't know how he's managed to do it, but everything talks about Bruce, unless there's some sort of automatic hierarchy system that realizes who's who in the zoo and puts him automatically up there. So we don't know. He's not rushing back, is he? I wonder. They've gone from the council meeting, bundled him up, chucked him in a van, and here he comes. Maybe let's see. Model trains, add to stage. There we go. Oh, we can see him. He's back. Oh, he's. This isn't unusual for you.
He's looking confused.
That's
for some reason I have no audio now.
Oh, well, we can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you. Well, there we are. It's all going awfully well.
Welcome to this episode of trying to do sign language when we don't know sign language to people that can't hear us.
That's the universal symbol for we can hear you.
Oh, probably isn't it? I don't know. I'm good with that.
Well, it is in my world anyway. So, Mark, what have you? While we've been waiting for His Royal Highness to sort out his technical issues, how you've not been here for ages? What on earth have you been doing?
I've just been very, very busy. I've either been in Europe or I nipped across to Northern Ireland. We did the Londonderry drone show, Halloween. That was quite cool. Just been busy going around doing cool stuff with drone swarms for the most part.
Very good. Very good. Now let's
we
see.
have Bruce. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Can you do us a favour, Bruce? Can you put into the chat the link to the CNN piece just so that the viewers can watch it later?
If you go back to my Twitter, my post on Twitter and find it again. Hang on. Everything is very slow.
Yeah, I'll put it in the private chat so you can paste across from there as well if you want.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably easier.
Yeah, so, I just can't do it from my phone. So it must all be true.
Oh, I don't see it in the private chat. Maybe it's because I wasn't logged in when you sent it. Oh, hang on. No.
I'll repaste if I've got it in my buffer. There we go.
There it is.
So smooth, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if the BBC and such reach out to us soon.
I think, to be honest, we're hitting like almost GB News standards.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Thanks.
There it is.
See, that come from me. It's actually from.
Yeah,
can
it's
you come
cool.
up 3dB on your mic? I'll have to come up 3dB like this. That's the only way I can do it. You just have to see my face a little bit closer. Unfortunately, this phone it just doesn't do it. I don't know why.
So this failed as a webcam too. Bloody useless thing.
Oh, you're just trying to use that?
Yeah, but when I plugged this in, my audio disappeared for some reason. Oh, I don't know.
I wonder if it has it got an audio jack on it.
No. One of the other failings doesn't have a 3.5mm jack or of anything on it. So.
And is being a webcam one of its advertised functions?
Yes, but it doesn't track you as a webcam. It should track you. I can't get it to track. You know, the face track thing. I thought it'd be cool because I can do a live stream and walk around. Nah, it doesn't want to do that. It's a dumb webcam.
Okay. And the other one died, did it? So we should
it come back to life. I don't know what happened. Maybe it'll die again if we're lucky.
You never know. So we've just discovered that Mark's been doing droney stuff. Now, is your guest coming on tonight, Mark, or is he picking another night?
No, probably be another night. But hopefully, I'm going to try and get Kev from Lincolnshire Police, basically, to come on because he's a really good guy, and you know all the positive stuff drones are used for needs more shouting about, and it's now one of the most cost-effective tools for any police department. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in the UK, America, or wherever you are. If there's a drone in the boot of the vehicle looking for search and rescue and stuff, looking for lost people, it covers big areas quickly and efficiency. You know, and it has to be shouted more about. I mean, fine, if America wants to go, oh, we can't have DJI, this, that, and the other. Not having it's going to cost your police departments, basically. You know, just because it's Chinese, all you've got to do is not let it talk to the internet. If you're concerned about it talking to China, for example, just don't connect them to the internet. It's that simple. But for some reason, you know, bureaucrats, they've got an agenda.
No, you forget that the Earth is flat, and those contrails, you know, with the stuff they spray, that connects those drones directly to China, mate.
Yeah, that's it. And they've even got some slow boats, I believe. Cool. We have briefly spoken about that CNN
full of junk
and your story full of junk. Yeah, exactly. Some evil trolling right there. You're right. Gatwick, it's never going to die, is it? Until the truth.
Well, any so-called expert spouting Gatwick as a drone thing, instantly disregard everything they're saying because they don't know what they're talking about. I have no time for those people. I don't care if they're a professor of some hardy-lardy university somewhere, thinks they're a specialist. If you're quoting a drone at Gatwick, you haven't done your research. I don't care who you are. And it's a shame when it becomes places like the CAA or FAA. Now, I think the CAA says possible drone, don't they? They've learnt a little bit, and people are now putting the word possible, which could almost be forgiven, but not quite in my book. I'm still, yeah. And
well, our Ministry of Transport still quotes Gatwick as a reason for we need registration and all this sort of rubbish. And
and therefore they're not experts. They've failed in their research. They are not fit for purpose.
Absolutely.
But I feel a cartoon, an AI drawing coming along from
another one.
With the word
He's found a new. He loves that toy, doesn't he?
It's keeping me well amused. I'm upsetting everybody with my AI at the moment. So I found the new head of the FAA. So they've been getting direct tweets with my latest artworks, and then the CAA. I kind of didn't tag them, but obviously I've done some nice AI mock-ups of what it might be like to go around there for the day. If I'll paste you in the link, Gary, with the the Gatwick file at the CAA, because that one did make me chuckle a bit.
Well, maybe get Bruce to put that one up. That'd be good. But I thought revealing the drone registration computer was a terrible thing to do, and probably breaks all sorts of privacy requirements.
Yes, I will put the link in for that as well.
Well, consider this, right? It cost them a couple of million to have the thing made, and
then $2 a year to maintain, I think.
Yeah, but you look how much the UAS sector makes in its freedom of information. It's paid for itself already. Talk about how to make some money the easy way. Just fleece drone operators. It's the easy way. You want to make some easy dough? Any FAA, just add a registration system with a few dollars or a few pounds, and I guarantee you that'd be the most profitable department in your company.
And once you're going to buy the short and curlies, just wind that price up every year, boost the profits.
It gets ridiculous, right? So at the minute, the CAA is out for consultation on its pricing policy and wants to put everything up, right? Actually, they can't. I don't see how they can even justify putting prices up for the UAS sector, because right now, if you're making £2 million a year or so, or 1.5 or whatever, they cannot justify putting our prices up because it flies. It's just insulting. It is radically insulting to the industry. It just is.
Less biscuits.
But think about all the hard work they do to make sure that we're not, getting bombarded with temporary restrictions that take out entire city centres in the summer, and they make sure that we're not getting people harassed at crime scenes, and they make sure that we can put our ops manuals in without them being sent out because there's some acronym that they've just invented the previous year. I mean, just think of what good stuff they do.
Well, no, it gets even better, remember, Ian, because what they do is all the caps they create, they make sure that each one lines up with the previous one, and they make sure that everything they're saying is adequately correct across them all. Oh, wait.
And they don't accidentally put in a photoshopped photo with a large drone flying next to an airline. They don't do any of that.
No, they wouldn't do that. They would not.
You guys are so mean.
Ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thought, Ian. Ridiculous. There's a big disconnect, isn't there? There are good guys at the CAA.
There are good guys, yes.
There are, but it's just the disconnect of operators aren't allowed to submit, barely a word out, a comma in the wrong place, a hyphen in the wrong place. Who out the ops manual? And it's not fair.
It's ridiculous. So if you say you're using version manual is version 1 or 2, right? And let's say it's version 2, but then somewhere else in the manual you put 2.0 because it's still 2. they will reject it for you.
Yeah, of course they should. Damn, goodness me.
You know,
It's ridiculous.
That's how they're just how they are. I mean, last time my ops manual submitted, what did I get wrong? For some reason, I didn't have ground incursion to my takeoff landing area. So what I put in my manual was as my emergency procedures. I just went, idiot ignores my takeoff landing. This was in my manual, I swear. I put idiot ignores my takeoff landing, ignores all my signs basically. And I said, idiot walks in, blah, blah, I'll land safely, you know, blah, blah. And I got my permission back, and they did send me my permission, but put, please, can you remove the word idiot from the ops manual?
A CAA employee.
No, there are. I mean, I'm being slightly harsh. There are some really good people at the CA, but
incoming, no threat
right.
going away.
There's something big flying around here. It must be from Waddington to be that low.
Yeah,
that's interesting. We don't get big stuff low here unless it's Waddington, and that was quite low and big. Yeah, that's gone now. Because Waddington now, we've got a massive temporary danger area around Lincoln. And even my model flying club, which is out towards Welbourne, it's about 300 meters, literally just outside. The club's just outside it by 300 meters. But there's a massive TDA at the minute over Lincoln. And that's because of the new,
Reapers,
I want to say, it's not the Predator, is it? It's the other one. It's the
Reapers. It's Reapers, isn't it?
It's Reapers. Sorry, it's Reapers here. So if you're really lucky, but the Reds as well, because the Reds are using the area as well now, because they seem to have abandoned R313 a lot. It's still there for them, but now you see they're kind of now practicing above RAF Waddington a lot more. That's where they seem to play now a lot more, especially the Sync pair.
Oh yeah, Scott, the watchkeeper, wouldn't stay in the air long enough to get out to Mark's house. But anyway, moving on swiftly, and just looping back to the so paperwork thing. I know what I want to say about that, and just some sort of spurious thing. But today's Montgolfier was not for Bruce. Yesterday was Montgolfier Day for Bruce. 240 years since the first manned flight in a balloon. So today's the day that balloonists around the world declare that champagne's the only drink to drink, and we were the actual pioneers. But from a manned aviation perspective, it was a lot easier running 6 or 7 balloons that carried 16 people in each one. It was much easier, much less hassle than I see people getting in the drone world. The CA were much better. So it always beggars belief, really.
Well, we shouldn't really be giving the CA too much of a hard time because, and this is going to sound crazy, and I'm probably going to get lambasted somewhere, but if we were in YASA, it would be 10 times worse. Have you seen their drone stuff? If you think our CAA is bad, or the FAA, we have got nothing on YASA. My God, they've got more time to spend messing about than anything. You really need to look at their regs because theirs are crazy, if you ask me.
Yes. I'm rapidly coming to the opinion that if regulations become too hard to comply with, compliance is a waste of time.
Yeah. Well, imagine this, right? So you have to have a flight termination system now, and it has to be separate to your C2.
Mine is called, I've got one of those called the ground.
Yes. I agree, Bruce, to agree. So what you have to do now, I think I've mentioned this before, haven't I? So if you're flying in a specific category, you have to have a device that will literally, independently of your normal C2 link, be able to force the aircraft to terminate the flight. The problem is with these systems, and I suspect it's quite common as well, is if that system loses signal to the ground, it triggers itself. Well, the drone's range is well beyond these flight termination systems and more secure half the time. So you have this system on board that actually is making your flight more risky.
Yeah. Well, that was always a problem with the Outback Challenge in Australia, was the flight termination systems, and a lot of great aircraft met their end because that terminated the flight for no good reason. I think they stopped. Stan, somebody in the comments maybe you'll be able to correct me, but I think they actually got rid of the flight termination systems in the end for that very reason. I thought that was a thing that had gone away, but plainly not. Plainly not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We had to demonstrate. Interestingly, we had to demonstrate to a possible client, a Spanish possible client. We had to demonstrate a complete separation of the Pixel light show drone, and it had its own flight termination system. So we had to demonstrate that because the flight termination system is not allowed to go through the flight controller. So you can have an FTS as long as it doesn't go through the main flight controller. And luckily for the Pixel drone, light show drone, it doesn't. It has it's on the C2 link. It will terminate the aircraft. The flight controller has no say in the matter at all. It just kills the power.
And it glides gently to the ground.
Yeah, but what it means is it meets all the current and new YASA regs, which is really nice. A feature we built over a year ago has actually future-proofed it, which is really nice.
The flight test guys performed a very nice flight termination video. I don't know if you've seen that.
It was good, wasn't it? Ailerons backwards. Yeah, it's always a handy way to do it.
Very, very good.
We won't call them the pre-flight test guys then.
I didn't see that.
You said it, not me. But what impressed me most about that video was their line of bamboo printers that they had.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bamboo Labs. Yeah, very.
Yeah,
very
a few
slick.
grains worth there.
I'm sure they were sent to them. I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
But
interesting. Did you see the video I posted about the drone factory in Russia making quadcopters? I'll put it on Twitter. There's on a YouTube one. I'm thinking sort of the hobby has gone quiet. There's not much activity commercially in the hobby. But I think a lot of drone companies must be doing very, very well out of the conflicts that are going on around the world. They don't care about the hobby anymore. They don't need hobbyists. They've got the military weapons suppliers now, and they are selling everything they can make. It would be a good time to be in that business.
Yeah, and they can't make stuff fast enough from what I've been told. It's it doesn't sit in their warehouse.
Yep. Black Sheep, Radio Master, all the stuff, all the hobby stuff, because they had a TX16 transmitter, they had the Tango 2 transmitters, and they've got all the the store-bought frames and everything. It is just amazing how much money must be going into this industry. And I guess the industry is not interested anymore about rules and regulations because there's no rules on a battlefield.
No, absolutely. And iForce 2D's there, and I can't mention how you're doing there. No, lovely to see him in the comments. And I can't say why Phil might be. Well, I can't say he's a multimillionaire, but I can tell you that should he appear, it will be maybe worth even more clicking to get perhaps a bit more than a gold cube. But they have said enough anyway. Should Phil Wonka turn up, it's going to be good. I got
a cardboard cube.
Very good. Well, just get some gold foil. Get some gold foil, and then you'll be all right. And to circle back on the DJI thing, this one that's going through right now, this bill in America that's been bought back into it again, seems like it might go somewhere, which is quite interesting. And what I found more horrific was the pictures of the AUVSI guys and the guys from Skydio and the others stood in front of Washington like it was like they're having their own Jan 6 rebellion and storming it. It's just AUVSI is so hypocritical. DJI were on the board of AUVSI, and now they're in the get rid of them, the evil things. Goodness knows what's going to happen in America if that happens.
Money talks, mate. Money talks.
Did I not read somewhere there's allegedly a DFT blue version for the UK as well?
There is. Well, I shouldn't have said that so emphatically, because I'm not supposed to know there is, but there is.
Just call it purple instead.
Well, there goes the phone.
Africa has fallen over. Earthquake in Africa.
Turkey in Africa. It's and I've been told that it's very almost identical, i.e., identical to the American one, which would be terrible if that's the case, because there are plenty of great UK manufacturers. In fact, we've got one here. So there we go. There's a UK manufacturer here, and many others, Ben and all the others, good folks.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they've not reached out.
I've been told they're waiting for the time.
Of course they
are. The hammer on it.
Which is then the point I'll stick my email in and complain like hell. Why didn't you reach out to us? Why have you not talked to us? You know, as a UK manufacturer, you know, I don't build one drone when I build a swarm. You know, I am building a few more.
But the thing is, it'll head off to all those flipping innovate sort of things. There'll be a load of people that'll stand up fast. Yeah. And here's my bet. They've already stood up and they're already getting ready to go. They'll drop the hammer on it, and magically, we can provide that. The exact specifications that you want. We're ready to go with that. Mark my words, something like that will happen. Call me cynical, but that's the delay. I reckon that's the delay.
You're probably right, and you know, probably some of the best builders. Well, there's Ben, who you know. He's probably if not the best, he's probably right at the very top. And you know, people like him that they probably don't know about. I would think as well what he can actually, design and build and stuff. You know, 3DXR is something else.
Yeah, they probably do know about him, but it'll be some university friends get together. And one of them went off to work for the DFT, and then the other one's thinking, we can build one of those. And
or ex-military.
I'm not sure about that. We're talking about a $600. Bardwell just posted a video on the Pixel almost verified 10-inch drone. Can he program that? Is he up to that? I don't know. Obviously, no one else has seen it then, so I haven't seen it either. Scott Aero saying I read today that big problem is that 3D filament is becoming rare. Gosh, that'd be quite a thing.
Oh, I would be surprised. There's a lot of companies making it.
Yeah.
But I guess you've got to get it there and stuff like that, haven't you?
But look, we've even got a company in this town makes 3D printer filament.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I use it. It's pretty good.
Is there that much of a demand in Tokoroa for 3D printing?
Can't get enough of it, mate. Kiwi fill, it's called. I got the card here. Yeah.
You have to have a license to use a printer in Tokoroa.
No, but you probably will. Probably to belong to the International 3D Printing Association or something.
Tim the Plane Man's here. They're all here, and all the glitterati in the comments. Evening to you, Tim. Yeah, they're all
it's
here.
The place to be.
Yeah. The council allowed them to make 3D.
No, they didn't know. The council didn't know. I suspect they're being shut down as we speak because I let them know that there was a 3D printer, and the mayor went, "Is there? What's 3D printing?"
Yeah. Cool Cat saying he's having a go in new territory for JB. Yeah. So that's interesting in itself, isn't it? Because
he has to.
Brandon's here as well. He has to do something else, doesn't he? Because of the way that the regulations are affecting channels over there. So it'll have remote ID. It'll have all the other good things. No, it's very. What is Model Trains ferreting around for there?
I'm just charging up the battery on that Osmo because it's the handle bit's gone down to 1% all of a sudden, and of course you can't change the batteries in these. So when the battery goes flat, you're buggered.
I hate it.
So what happens when the battery dies then?
You buy the next model. It's DJI, mate. That's the way they build them.
It's not just DJI. Everyone's and I think this is fundamentally wrong. It annoys me because it's against all this right to repair, and that it makes everything even worse. Putting batteries in everything because one thing I don't like is you have old devices and you'll forget you've even got them in your house with batteries. And I worry over time what happens with that decay. So it's going to be a fire risk, which is one thing. But also, yeah, it's a cost thing because you're saying basically this is going to fail. And with batteries, even if you're not using them, they deteriorate over time. So you're basically making sure that people have to keep updating your gear because you've got like Rode doing it with. So I love the little nice wireless Rode stuff to do these days. And even a lot of people copying them. But I just want to have the days where, and even with your mobile phone, I want the days when you take the battery off and put another battery on. You don't have to make the phone any thicker. It's evil. It's evil that we've got going on everywhere. It's batteries and everything, so you have to keep buying it. And it frustrates me these days because everyone's going about the eco credentials. So we'll go, oh, well, there's this recycled plastic on it, or there's this and there's that, and there's still a bloody battery inside. So it's like it's hypocrisy, but of the highest degree.
And it's so inconvenient having a power bank velcroed to the back of your phone once the battery's gone in the phone. It doesn't no longer slim anymore.
Hang on. Before I drop off, what you mean like this?
Yeah.
Exactly. Modern problem, and I think flights here as well. My word, it is a regular glitterati of glittery folks. Good evening to you. And if you haven't watched the Think Flight channel, get in there and watch it. The recent free flight and the big rubber band planes are just awesome sauce. Absolutely awesome sauce. So what else can we complain about this week, gentlemen?
The weather?
We should mention eHang at some point since there's
I've forgotten we can talk about that now. Yes, dear old eHang. Yeah, well, they're being found out. I believe there's at least one, if not two more articles coming about eHang. And for those that have missed it, there's all manner, but it'll come as no surprise to you, dear viewer, because you are plugged in and aware of these things. But their work culture is toxic, their engineering is toxic, and their stealing of software is toxic.
I was allegedly on the end of all that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry?
So allegedly
and Gary, in Gary's honest opinion.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. The reporter has alleged. So we're now on the third investigation against eHang, I think now. Yeah, because there was Wolfpack first, and that was quite an in-depth one. Then there was Hindenburg, I think they're called, and then there's the latest one, which I forget the name off the top of Share Sleuth. And the guy behind them is a billionaire. I think's got an NBA team. So these are people with big pockets thinking there's something a little bit, concerning that they can see. And they've got journalists to go out and find this stuff and put it out there for people to look at and make up their own minds. So the allegations they made were about the work culture. So it was like obviously there was some sexism allegations there, which in themselves you say, well, that happens to a lot of companies, but not that it makes it right or wrong. But that in itself wouldn't say. But it seemed, we went to the point that was at court. But additionally to that, it was that a woman involved there that actually got photos and. The drone malfunction and it cut the end or chopped off the end of the CEO's finger. So there's like a photo of that, and then there's the one that's about that does bring ethics into question is the allegation that when they had the Ghost drone, which was like the consumer drone product, that to make the video look good, they actually filmed it all with DJI gear and put it out as though it had been filmed on their own drone.
3D as well. Anyway.
Okay. And so we've got that, which obviously doesn't give a good impression. And then it's gone on to the stuff that we've mentioned on this show, that there's a concerning pattern of Archer pilot being seen, and it goes beyond what we've even mentioned on this show. And because you've got your small investors, and I don't know some of these are whether they're even eHang staff, but there's lots of bots as well putting out the eHang. It's $EH, which is the share shorthand for it, and all stuff saying, you know, like buy kind of messages. But they're trying to dismiss it. Oh, it's just videos. Well, it isn't just videos. If you're putting out videos that show your manned craft flying about and the telemetry on there is Archipilot, that is just concerning, period. I don't care when it's appeared. If it's the first manned craft, why would you have it on your first manned craft and not your second? Would be a question for starters. And then it's a question of, if you're a Chinese company and you're saying you've coded everything, how come you've got half your telemetry in Chinese and the other half in English, and the stuff that's in English all matches to the letter the exact Archipilot messages? And same with the flight modes, you know, it all smacks of genuine alarm bells. And then on top, just to show it isn't something that's historic, I've downloaded the latest manual for a current product, their Falcon B, that's shown flying alongside the 216 manned vehicle. So they send that out. You know, basically the idea is they do city management and say, well, we can send out manned and unmanned at the same time. And the unmanned vehicle, they're saying they can also use for deliveries. And the manual for that, it's got all Archipilot flight modes. So it's alt hold, and it's even alt _ hold. You know, why would you pick? Because for me, especially if you're a Chinese company, if you were just going to say, well, we're going to pick English names, you pick the DJI ones. They're more intuitive, in my view. You know, return to home. Archipilot use loiter, and I just don't think that's, you know, it's not a word, certainly here in England, we commonly use anyway. So that doesn't, loiter to me never ever did say GPS mode. It just seemed a bit of an obscure word. So, but yeah, they picked all the Archipilot ones, which all it smacks of is you've got open source code that, you know, is related to, you know, some bits might just be Mavlink, other bits are definitely Archipilot because they're unique to it. So there is a genuine question there. But the funny thing is that that part of the story hasn't really gone out so much, because a lot of people, again, that are eVTOL experts are choosing not to you know, repeat any of the negative stories, because a lot of them have already said, I think eHang's brilliant, I think they're going to do really well, and blah, blah. So they put their own name to that from watching the hype, that they don't want to give any airtime to other messages are out there that are saying, hang on a minute, you know, this could potentially be the eVTOL version, you know, of what the Titan submersible was to that industry. That, you know, because the problem is, if you have any of the VTOLs have a nasty crash, it won't just hit the share price of that company, but potentially the wider industry. If it's believed that everyone's kept up and adhered to the same and similar standards, which doesn't look like it is the case, but if you argue they have, then, you know, that the consequences will be across the whole sector.
I think it's also interesting. So we've got all that's come out. So basically, journalists were asking me for information. I said blame Ian. So that's why Ian's got into all that. I just shouldered or shoved all the responsibility onto Ian. But there's a lot out there, and in the same week that I think I don't think this happened last week. I think it was this week that the Paris Council said, well, you know, these things they all look a bit elitist to me. Perfect for French, isn't it? Look a bit elitist, and it looks like it's for rich people only. We don't want them. And it's completely destroyed that they're going to fly in the Olympics, and they're talking they might change the law over there to duck around the councils. But I think you've got.
Yeah, I get the impression that because they've made the decision that they want to show off these electric vehicles there, that it'll go ahead anyway. But you're quite right. The locals have said we don't want them, and it was interesting when you read the arguments. I mean, obviously, some were concerned a bit about noise, I think, which we know isn't so much an issue, so that's fair enough. But then they made a point, though the elitists, they're just for wealthy people to, because I think it was well over £100 for this very short flight, of saying, well, you know, you could just be getting a car. But the interesting one as well was that there was an argument that actually it wasn't eco-friendly either, that it would consume, that they argued 3 times more energy than taking a car for the same trip. So there were a few arguments there. And then that pulls apart quite a lot, because the eVTOL one is always, and it's not one I particularly buy, just as another, I don't always particularly buy it with electric cars either, because we're always saying, well, it's eco-friendly, and then it's from a coal power station, you've got your electric, which is kind of like, well, it's not eco-friendly until your whole chain is really. But yeah, it's just interesting to see all that. You know, that in that story is the entire opposite of every other story that's pushing them.
Yeah,
so it is saying there is actually more of a debate there. When it actually comes to trying to put these in cities, there might be, you know, more hostility there.
Well, didn't they also have concerns on licensing for pilots? They also had concerns on airworthiness and everything. They didn't just go low. They also hit them hard and says, who's going to fly this? Who's going to, and if you want to get a license for a helicopter to fly commercially, you have to do the hours. So when I was in Vegas, there was a guy, our pilot, he was from Ireland. He went to America. He had done his helicopter's license. And we were talking to him. He's like, well, why are you doing the strip? So basically, you go to Vegas airport, you get in, you fly for about 45 minutes, half an hour. You do the Hoover Dam, you do the Grand Canyon, land in the Grand Canyon on ours particularly, and then take off and fly back and fly down the strip. He says, doing this job gets me my flight hours, because he says, if you just do a normal helicopter job, he says, I won't get to be commercial. I have to get so many hours. He says, and I can do this job. He says, my hours will be crazy. By the end of the year, he'll have an incredible amount of hours. He says, I've got loads of experience. That's a big tick box for me to go off and do other things. And it's like these eVTOLs. Who's going to get the hours in time? Who are the pilots going to be?
You're forgetting
training.
You forget, Mark, though, that this is all electric. So they'll say somebody's been playing on the PlayStation with the joypad and got the hours there.
But yeah, you can have helicopter simulators, but that doesn't cut the mustard. You have to have real world flying for a helicopter. And the kicker will be that a lot of like YASA, CAA, FAA have already said you have to have the power lift or the helicopter training materials and all that sort of stuff. And if it's following that methodology, a sim will mean sweet FA, because the hours in a sim won't be enough. You'll have to go and do just serious flying time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the FAA have already said they want the same qualifications, the helicopter qualifications. So well, it can happen. It can happen.
Well, no. When they get to training for autos, they're going to be in big trouble.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, someone said FX no, can these air taxis auto rotate? No, they can't. And they're talking about lots of them got parachutes, including that Chinese one we showed a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah, that's basically because they don't auto rotate. There's just a shroud to cover the wreckage.
You see,
yeah, exactly. It's cover the bodies. It's very, very, very good. That very, very good indeed. But
sorry.
Well, the price creep is coming into it as well. That's also come in. I can't remember which is which, but one of them originally said it was going to be $3 per passenger.
That was Whisper.
I saw
and it's creeping up and up and up. And now, then another lot said, well, it'll be $150 a journey, and another lot said, well, it's probably going to be $250 a journey. It's like, oh, right, okay. So it's already Well, we know. Again, this audience knows. How on earth are we going to make this thing cost effective when helicopters? Urban air mobility has been around since the 50s. Helicopters in city, and pun intended, it's not taken off, has it? Unless you're ultra wealthy, and that's what this is going to be.
Look, so for us in the UK, we just have to look at London. So London has all the heli routes, and I think there's 4 or 5, isn't there, into the city and across the city.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
What's important about the London heli routes is most of the time they are above one of the rivers that goes through London.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
or a big
follow the
road.
rivers, because if there's a problem, the helicopter has to auto-rotate. Water is where it's going. And these eVTOLs are going to have to find similar ways. Any city that's not got a river through it is automatically at a disadvantage, because you can't have one rule for one and one rule for another. Don't get me wrong, helicopters fly over cities all the time and stuff, but generally, if it's a transit route that's mass used, like the London heli routes, they are all laid out. Those kind of things, you're going to have a nice, safe way in and out of the cities.
Well, it sort of also it self-regulates itself about the number of aircraft that are in there, because it's only really very wealthy people that are flying the heli route. So that means there's very few helicopters going up and down there. So, but for urban air mobility to work, it would assume. Well, I have made a well. One of the frightening things about it is people are talking about using X-Plane as the simulator. That is frightening in itself. But I've made a video about doing that. If you had to fly the existing heli routes in London, you're stuffed to a very small number that could actually use it. It's only up to 800 feet. It's one way, one the other when you're flying it. It's just not.
And I do think, actually, there's been a mistake with these eVTOLs. I actually think now it should be electric helicopters. I'm beginning to think that an electric helicopter would be the more sensible option, with a battery pack at the bottom of it and everything, or wherever, but a big electric motor, because pitch blades, you get a better efficiency, because you can do
efficiency is much higher.
Yeah, your efficiency.
And if you look at most helicopters, the piston helicopters, the motor is the major noise source.
Yeah. So if we could turn that electric, so if you can turn that into an electric source, you got a nice big battery, and you have the auto, that because electric, it's still auto, a helicopter, an electric one.
Spread clutch, no worries.
Yeah. So actually, I think, there is an update. I have seen a smaller one, but I think there's a cause for them to get slightly bigger, and helicopters have been around forever, so it wouldn't be that hard or that much of a leap for them to go fully electric, UAM. They're not going to make the god-awful noise that we expect. It'd be a different hum from them when they spin up, because it won't be a great big piston engine trying to do it, or a turbine trying to do it. It'd be a lot different. So I think electric helicopters may be the way they should have gone.
Here's one thing to think about. How would you like to be flying over a river and your electrically powered eVTOL or whatever have to ditch, and then realize you are in water with a battery that has about 1,000 volts?
Well, but you'd be wanting to do is get your net out, because you could be doing lots of fishing, because all the fish will be popping up all around you. You just grab them as you go.
It's the saltwater version you really don't want to land in.
Yeah, exactly. The chlorine will kill you.
Well, well, I think we all know it's an interesting nonsense that's coming to a head. And I think 2 weeks ago I said it felt like, last week. But anyway, whenever the Dubai air show, it felt that was peak bullshit. And I think very nicely in the same week, the Paris thing is just it
shows the two worlds.
Yes, it does.
But it's opposite sides of society, and it struck me that the world's almost kind of moved on as well in this. That partly with COVID, we're all working from home, so you'd be able to argue this use case still for London because of the wealth there. At a push, you might get Manchester and Liverpool because there's still a lot of money there, but there isn't round all the other UK cities. People are more worried about, can I pay my gas bill, than do I want to fly around in a plastic helicopter.
They for most of the cities, they don't make sense. They wouldn't make any sense in my city, for example, because it's just horrible. It's just horrible here, especially for the air traffic. I've got Waddington, so but here it made no sense.
I've had
Mark,
a verti-
don't work for the tourist board there ever.
No. I've had a vertiport here for at least 5 years, and not a single bugger's come and landed here yet. I want to know what's going on. What is happening with this whole thing?
The landing fees are too high, mate.
No, that's East Midlands Airport.
They should be too high.
Did you see what they were in Vegas? Did you see the landing fees for Vegas during the Formula One? They wanted to charge $3,000 for GA aircraft per landing. And then there was a big kerfuffle, and they wound it back to $700 per landing.
Wow.
I don't doubt it. Now, I know there was, and it was spoken about in the comments earlier, there was a chap was arrested flying there, wasn't he? And
yeah.
That's probably what...
The bodies were everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's also interesting that they, because of that failed practice run, whichever one it was, class action lawsuits are coming in. I bet F1 hadn't really thought through going to some parts of America, because that wouldn't have happened in Europe.
Sue your ass off, boy.
Very interesting.
So do you think when this, like we've got eVTOLs falling apart, drone delivery is going to fall apart from a business to customer perspective. So maybe that's why they're now ramping up more and more the security, because the regulators who have rolled out all this stuff in anticipation of all this activity are now being left with egg on their face because it ain't going to happen. Oh, no, but we did it for security. That's the only way they can fall back and justify what's happened.
Yeah. Well, if I ruled the world, it's where you could sort of you'd be wanting an inquiry as to why such loud voices. But I suppose it happens in everything, all the time, everywhere, where the loudest voice wins and gets pushed through whatever they need, sod the rest of them, and whatever the wealthy person wanted didn't work, so they just move on. But everyone's left with whatever they're left with. I'd love to see all the influencer meetings that happened and all the stuff that happened to get us to where we are now. I won't say it, but yeah, sorry, Bruce, after you.
No, it's all right. I was just saying, I'm just thinking of Ian with your AI stuff. I see YouTube now wants you to declare when you've got stuff that isn't real. All my videos will have to have a declaration because I use VFX and all. Oh, people won't believe anything now.
Yes, I thought that. I thought, well, it's my reality, so it's real, but it's not, so what do they really mean by that? Yeah, and I've put those shorts out, and I know you hate shorts, Bruce, and I did it because one 10-year-old at school's got a short that's got over 1 million views, so he thinks he's going to be a millionaire. So I thought I'd better find out about them. And it's horrifying how many views you've got to have. YouTube have really got people.
It's about 1% of long form video revenues. It's just a waste of time. People say, "Oh, it promotes your channel." It doesn't promote your channel. No one clicks on a short and then goes, "Oh, let's go and have a look at this guy's channel." They flick to the next short. It just doesn't happen. It's YouTube's way of making more money out of the same amount of traffic. Well,
the children say that they don't say they watch YouTube now. If you ask them what social media do you watch, or what things you watch, Netflix, they don't say YouTube, they say shorts, and they mean that they watch shorts. So it's the attention economy gone mad. I don't know why I lent into that shorts thing then.
The thing though is kids that age don't have a lot of spending power. Most of them don't have credit cards, can't buy online. So the savvy advertisers will be putting their money where they know the buying power is, and that's in the longer form content. And then people don't, if you're flicking through shorts, you probably don't stop when you see an ad, even if it's something, I'll get back to that later, you never do. But if it's in a long form video, you've got more time to take it at your leisure and perhaps even click on the ad. Who knows?
It's the attention economy. Attention.
Yeah, what annoys me too is that YouTube's requiring us now to make a declaration if we have any AI or any alteration to reality, but they're still running ads with Elon Musk touting crypto schemes with AI Elon Musk, and then even TV presenters in the UK getting their stuff stolen, and they're running ads with this stuff. And that's all right because we're being paid for that, so we don't care. Advertisers can do whatever the hell they like because they're giving us money. But if we're giving you money, I'm sorry, you have to play by the rules.
But sorry, what I was going to say is, what I find amazing is, right, Bruce is right. The amount of false adverts on YouTube is astounding, right? However, it's really funny that on X, I don't see as many fake ads like that, but obviously there'll be a few. But it seems to be that everyone's against Musk's Twitter, and everything seems to be going, oh, quick, get our adverts off there. Yet I would rather trust an advert on X more than I would YouTube at the minute. And I just got Gary's channel banned.
I'm interested to know from Bruce, in that Musk advert, do they take, which isn't Elon Musk, do they take your local TV celebrities to do the
Yeah, they've done that. There's a number of our celebrities have been outraged because their images have been used in advertising for weight loss products and that sort of stuff, scammy products. Wow. They do the AI, and it's ridiculous. And a lot of people, don't realize, especially older people, they can't realize it's AI. We can see that the lips aren't quite in sync and that it looks a bit unnatural. But a lot of older people on a phone, they've only got their 5-10 vision, and oh yeah, I know that person. I'll go and buy their stuff. There should be a responsibility from within advertising companies to ensure at least a degree of checking of this sort of stuff. They're getting paid for it. They should, and I know it's a big ask because even if they have to put the price of the ads up, that for a start will scare away the scammers. But they should have it so that there is a burden or an obligation to ensure that ads are not false. And also, even when they're reported. Yeah, but when that jet, buy a jet for $29.99, that big EDF. Thousands of people reported that ad to YouTube, and it still ran for 3 months. So tell me they're doing their job. They don't care.
Absolutely, they shouldn't be allowed to run that sort of thing. And if you cut, they cut very quickly on the ones that we see with the Elon Musk thing between different celebrities. So yeah, you could easily trap somebody half watching. And it's done. They've spent a bit of time because it's done in the manner of our news channels as well, which is slightly different to how it would be there or in the UK. So it's not just been. It's some real thoughts gone into that. So it must be worth their while.
What pees me off is if I play one note of a copyrighted tune, I get a copyright claim. One note. From one note, the AI is clever enough to work that out. But the AI can't be tasked with saying this is an AI ad, let's get rid of it. No, because that would cost them money, not save them money. It's so bad.
It is. It's really bad. I took us down a rabbit hole then. Think Flight doesn't watch ads. Yeah, it's just all interesting. And again, I've gone down. I don't know why I've gone down this rabbit hole, but children at school just think they're going to get onto YouTube and make a fortune. And if you tell them you're probably not, they don't like to hear that. So I have to try and back it up with some sort of evidence. Imagine that, teaching based on evidence, facts. Goodness me.
I shall have to go down to the local high schools and show these guys my lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Gary, don't tell them the only way they can make money is OnlyFans. Otherwise, you won't be a teacher very long.
No, don't. But so I'll tell you a story.
It's very cold here. That's why it's so small.
Yeah. Well, so they were the 13-year-olds were sort of dancing around that topic without telling me. Without telling me, they were dancing around it, and then they get onto some website about foot fetishes, and I discover that one of the 13-year-olds is selling photos on on a foot fetish site. It's like, oh God, what am I gonna? Because then I'm duty bound with that information, and that's thankfully I don't have to contact the parent. But it makes for very, very difficult conversations around the place.
You got me thinking now. AI feet.
They had the wrong number of toes, mate. That could be a fetish on its own.
It could. Well, I've forgotten the name. Used to be on Big Cat Diary, and the German tourists used to come and take photos of her feet every year. I can't remember her name. I can see her face. Can't remember her name. One of the presenters. Anyway, and Think Flight's already made a fortune and retired. And in only 2 years.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Good old Elon, eh? Good on him.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to talk about the biggest drone ever flown, haven't we? Or rocket. Wasn't that impressive?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
That
it
that
was.
that was truly impressive.
Mm.
31 engines lit.
How many baby seals had to die for that to fly?
but the great
None.
thing is it's made of bean cans, so it's it's cheap as
Well,
chips. Cheap as chips.
I mean, you got to imagine though, that thing was 120 odd meters tall, right? So that is bigger than than a lot of skyscrapers. That thing was chuffing huge. It got to just below orbital height, didn't it, or just hit orbital height? Because it wasn't, Starship was only going round once, so they didn't have to go to full orbit, if I remember correctly. It did its flip. The booster, which is bloody incredible, it's like 70 meters, isn't it? The booster, it's 9 meters wide or thereabouts. 9 meters. I mean, I'm sat in my lounge and it's 6 meters, and I'm thinking, holy crap, 9 meters? This thing weighing nearly 100 tons, near as damn it, left the planet. It's just incredible in my head.
Well,
I mean,
that's probably what they did when they blew it up.
Well, so it must have been automated. I do wonder if the main booster went where they didn't want it, starting to get to like because it flipped correctly, and then it just at a certain point it was flight termination by the looks of it. But that was interesting.
Flight termination systems again.
Yeah, but this time it worked, because on the one before that it didn't work right, did it? Or the one before that, or whatever, it didn't quite work as well as it wanted to. So maybe they just tested that it worked. But the booster was meant to do its flip, which it looked like it completed, but maybe it had drifted too far, and the system went, "You're outside your range, bye-bye booster," because it looked like it did all its performance flips correctly. But that was meant to land in the sea, wasn't it? It was meant to return to a predetermined place in the sea, hover. Literally, they were going to hover it and then let it just fall into the sea and destroy itself. They just wanted to prove that they could hold it, or it could hover itself precisely like the Falcon 9 can, for landing. I just find it absolutely bonkers that the size of that thing and what it can do is just, it blows my mind.
It's a bit
Small
of a glimpse
explosion.
into the future.
Well, you imagine. I mean,
Small
if they get
explosion.
well, if they get Starship, if you get Starship running, that will make every other rocket company just go, "Oh crap!"
No,
Because
why
all of
will
a
it?
sudden, how can you compete if you can lift 100 tons into space?
Yeah, but who needs to lift 100 tons? Most of the stuff is small satellites. It's like Rocket Lab in New Zealand. They've got that carbon fiber rocket with electrically powered rocket motors, and they're doing great business hurling small satellites into orbit. That's big business.
No, I kind of agree with you there, Bruce. But is that because there's a limit on what people can actually put in space? So there is the problem where we can only put a couple of tons or a ton and a half in space. So what you can actually physically do with something that's bigger, you'll be able to launch a lot bigger things. We can have
Like
orbital
what?
space stations. We can have
Who's going to pay for
commercial
that?
space hotels. Oh, there's always some rich person somewhere, Bruce. But as we know, initially things cost a lot, then prices come down. That's how it works,
Maybe the Friday the 13th, or was it Black Friday sales? They'll knock the price down.
Well, you imagine when the first 16-inch TVs appeared, they cost a fortune, didn't they? To begin with?
I remember when the
Now,
first Philips flat screen, $20,000 for a Philips flat. Do you remember that one that was hanging on the wall? The Philips, it was, I don't know, plasma, I think it was. $20,000 for that. And it was only like a 32-inch or something. Crazy.
But now look at the price of a 32-inch TV. They're like 150 quid or something ridiculous.
And they're better.
Yeah, and they're better. So, it's going to cost a lot to begin with, but the cost reduction would be amazing.
I don't think the economies of scale are quite there with huge rockets, though. Because we're also running out of space.
No, you're not.
Space is full. It's full now. There's no more room. We're very close to it. Well, forget the effect, but when we have a collision and then it chain reacts, and basically the whole thing turns into debris in low Earth orbit because there's so many satellites all orbiting in proximity. What's the name of that effect?
I forget.
Well,
but
they tried to rename it Full, weren't they? I mean, that's obviously
yes,
that's
no
gonna cost
space.
us-
Yeah,
but
yeah,
space is, you know, that you look at the radius of the planet and look at even with Elon Musk's satellites whizzing around it, it's not, the sky is not even beginning to get full. You know, there is so much space, and of course you can stack everything. So you know, it's not a case of all on this layer. You know, you can go 15
I
miles,
think that
30 miles, 50
toolbox
miles.
filled it. That toolbox was the last thing, the one they dropped while they're working on the space. That was the final thing that's filled the last gap. Now there's no more room.
Well, even Eli, my lad, last night we were watching the satellites, and he said, "Wow, look at all." Even he noticed how many Starlink. So he's 8. He noticed on the how many Starlink satellites are going over, and wondered why. I mean, it's intuitively, it doesn't seem like a good idea to stuff a load of stuff up there. I know not a lot of harm's going to come our
They're
way.
only 10% done so far, aren't they? There's a lot more to go. And then you've got the one thing out of the UK and Amazon's one. The skies will be totally full. And never lend your tools to that astronaut.
No.
Will Amazon ever get theirs off the ground? Because they kiboshed their plan, didn't they? Or am I?
Well, they're still planning it.
Have they delayed it then or something? Because they can't get them into space. OneWeb does use SpaceX, which is really funny. So the competitor to Starlink uses SpaceX, but it's the only way they can get them launched now because, of course, the problems with the Russian stuff.
I know that Carl. I saw Carl pop up in the comments there. I was going to add something in then, but after you, Bruce, it's not worth it. Whatever I was going to say.
No, just saying that the UK is still working on their trebuchet for space launches. It's only a matter of time.
It's really funny at the minute. They keep talking about doing space and regulation.
Oh, the CAA. I keep seeing their postings about, space this, space that. I'm thinking, what are you guys hurling into space? Seriously.
Well,
but we're probably not, but we're going to make the best ever UTM for spacecraft.
Well, get this, right? So Virgin, who launched from Cornwall, didn't they moan like hell about our CAA and trying to get a space launch? Didn't they absolutely rip the CAA a new one? I'll tell you what, the people they need to employ to sort out space regulation was the team that tried to get that launch done, because they can point all the flaws out with the CAA and just go, this is how it should have been done. This is it, and make it easier. You know, we can't, the UK will never be a true space launch nation. We couldn't even launch a Falcon 9 in this country without the NIMBYs or, you know, the environment or something, because we're not a big island. You know, you launch a Falcon 9 anywhere in the UK, the rest of the country is going to know you just launched it. You know, it's not like Texas or something or Florida where you can just set off a big speaker, which is what NASA did, go, right, anyone inside this circle, move. Can't do that here. It doesn't work.
And if you hurl it out to the east, it's going to go over Europe, isn't it?
Yeah,
you'd
have to launch.
You can fly over.
Yeah, you'd have to launch.
The other thing is, England's or the UK is so small, it'll actually push it across a little bit. So then you have to
reaction.
Change all
bang
the
it into Ireland.
You know,
I know, man. If they launch the right way, we can make a lot of people happy by reconnecting back to mainland Europe.
Yeah, but that's the wrong way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now we are definitely ranting. We are definitely ranting about nothing, and I can't believe the stellar cast, this out of the world people have been in the comments this evening.
It's be here or be square these days, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not a lot going on in the world.
I think at this point, you know, just for a bit of a distraction, I've got a bit of GA video in that I think people have found very interesting, given the hysteria we have about drones.
Go on, then.
If Bruce or someone can kick it off.
How do I do? I haven't done this bit before. Just click on it.
I've
clicked on it. Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Look at that.
Oh,
that's brilliant.
Alison Barnes.
So that's been up on Twitter. There's quite a few pilots comment on it and saying this thing isn't actually quite as unique as it looks. So this goes on quite a bit, which I thought was kind of interesting. And
if I'd done that with a model plane, I'd be arrested.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the comments on there, a lot of them are blaming the members of the public as well. And I thought, how does that work with the GA pilots versus as drone pilots? Wouldn't that be our fault?
Yeah.
Well, there was a few years ago with we used to have the RAF Waddington Air Show here in Lincoln. People would go right, so they stopped the traffic for planes landing and taking off. But people were getting so close to the outer fence, and when the planes are coming in, their wheels are just skipping over the boundary fence, and they had to literally go and tell the public, "Oi, stop being dicks and stay away from the landing area," because people are stupid. People are
that's
idiots.
a bit harsh. They don't stand behind jet airliners at that island airport and get blown into the sea, do they, by the jet wash?
No, they don't get killed by them there at all. No.
Because they've got skin in the game, mate. They've got skin in the game.
Do you know, right? We used to use that video for training, so you go, it's not the aircraft's fault. It's kind of people are stupid, So we kind of used that video in our thing about jet wash and how, it's not the plane's fault, the pilot's fault at all for those injuries. They're indirect injuries.
Self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Indeed. Right, we are talking nonsense. We're keeping people up and we're talking nonsense. So,
there's one thing though before you wrap up.
More nonsense.
More nonsense.
There's more.
It's US news, and obviously, especially when I'm on, we do divert to a lot of UK news, so we do have to balance it out. Zipline were on social media posting. They've done. It is funny though because they're there, woo woo, like Americans do, about doing this first beyond visual line of sight drone flight. But it must be galling for people like Manor in Europe that have been doing this for years. That it's like, they said they quoted a reporter, and it's like, well, this report can't be much of an expert because they said some reporter had said we wouldn't be doing this for at least 10 years. It's like, well, wait a minute, it's been being done for years already. It's not like this is something new, other than for the fact it was happening in the US, and the fact it probably hasn't happened in the US today will be down to regulators saying no, you're not allowed to do it, rather than the technology not being there.
I think one of the implications was that it was because it had ADS-B in on board and it was able to fly around aircraft, because I'm sure Arduino doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's actually the disputed audio system that it's got on board.
Right. It can hear things coming.
It can hear things come. It can hear the future. And so I'm going to scroll up in my comments here. MTV, who won the Charlie and Chocolate Factory Cube Prize? Well, MTV. If you were one of the people that has entered already, you're going to get more opportunities. You'll be continually entered into each month. We're going to start drawing them from next January. And there's not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but there are 6 gold cubes.
Does that include my one?
Including your one, and yours one is you're getting the chocolate one. That is what he needs to do. He needs to make some chocolate ones. That's what he needs to do.
I'm on keto diet.
Just in time for it. I see. That's the chap in Pink Panther movies, isn't it? Jumps out of cupboards. Never mind.
It's pretty good.
lead balloon, that one, didn't it?
He was in Last of the Summer Wine too. Later in his career.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And the gold cube, I can't say too much, but the gold cube may not be the biggest prizes, if anyway. But there's gold cubes. It's going to be other normal cubes, as well as merch, and some announcements will be happening probably in January. So it's still there, and there will be more chances to enter. Kato, yes, that's right.
Bert Kwong, I think his name was, wasn't it?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Useless information I don't need to remember.
Yeah, not now, Kato. Yeah, no.
I know it's in the comments, Scott said Zipline had plenty of experience. It wasn't a dig experience. It was just the fact that if you watch the video, it's like they put a man on the moon. Yeah. And they're the first people to have done it. It's that kind of vibe where you're thinking, yeah, congratulations to you. But,
ooh, fire. We've invented fire. Ooh.
Well, it was an absolute nonsense because they've been doing BV-loss flights in Rwanda for years and other African countries and all over the place. So it was absolutely black shirts. No, it's a good idea, Cliff. Very good idea. Yeah, very good idea. Yeah, start selling black shirts. Right. Even. Go on, mate.
Oh, I was just going to say, I did use the opportunity to tweet the CEO and say, have you got any Archipilot PX4 and that? And no, I didn't get any reply at all. Why? I don't know. Well, people really get scared when they ask that question.
Yeah, no, it is surprising how companies hide the flight stacks they're using and stuff like that. Rather, they should be, a lot of them should be a bit proud of it. In fact, funny enough, the flight stack that was filming the that rocket was a Q-powered Archipilot flying bespoke multi-rotor that filmed the launch, and it's RFD radio. You know what those radios? RFD, RF, whatever they are. Radios failed in the morning, and Philip had to try and get one to it quick. For that launch, and that's why he put the appeal out on Q-Pilot. It was for that reason. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say that, but there we are. I just did, didn't I?
Everyone's thinking I should be careful what I tell that Gary bloke.
Yeah, I know. And the things like the flick wing. I've not mentioned that. That looks fantastic, and recommends Archipelago. We're proud of it. So again, pop off to that very channel if you don't. All of you know who we're talking about here. All of you know. You all know. You're that sort of an audience. But look, this is the 5th time I've tried to wrap this up.
Yeah,
now.
Ian keeps interrupting.
Yeah, is there anything else, Ian? Is there anything else? Did you call
Some
him
of us
a
got
mutant,
lives
then?
to live, Ian.
Did you call him a mutant? Is that what you just called him? A mutant?
No,
I don't know.
no,
Anyway,
no.
I've got one thing though.
Yeah, right. You get a new camera, did you?
I did. That's the one. Yeah, I've got the new mix.
I knew that'd trigger him.
2X. And if you're in the UK at the moment, check it out because they're doing really good money off. And I'm glad I put this stuff on Twitter because something even better happened from that. So I was going to buy it, and in fact, I'd already bought it. It was in the car, and so there's £100 off, and they've already reduced the price by a couple of £100. So I'm like, oh, bargain. And then someone says to me, wait a minute. If you buy the version that comes with the lens, the 14 to 28, which costs a couple of £100 more, but they give you £300 cash back. And you can sell that lens at the moment for over £400. So you buy it and you get £700 back.
Who wants to buy a kit lens? God.
And well, no, I think it's a decent one. It's £700 lens. Mm-hmm. So by the end of it all, the camera costs you £1,500. So that's what I'm doing. So. But don't tell me more.
Right. And
can we go now?
Yeah, we can go now. I thought there's some even better secrets out there, Chris.
Yeah.
There's even better secrets.
Hey,
but I
remember we have the after stream that's open to only a few people. Should I not have mentioned that?
Are we going to do that? Are we actually going to do that?
We need to plan for that so it's more impromptu.
I think someday it needs to be the after stream. Someday.
Well, the one before the stream was just chaos.
Yeah, but only Gary's Patreon supporter gets to see that.
Yeah.
That guy.
Patreon. Oh yeah, I'd be well up for running a Patreon campaign. I'd know exactly what I was doing. Insiders only. Yeah.
It is worth mentioning for everyone that is on here and watching it, though, that really what happens is when Gary clicks off, we actually stay here chatting, and it often goes on for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and it could be put on as some kind of last of the summer wine kind of thing, because we're mainly there as old men talking about all our ailments and other such things.
That's exactly what we spoke about last week. Was different sorts of other Ian was there, different sorts of medication, and oh god, it was real duffer.
The best kind of napkin to wear, that sort of thing.
It's terrible. How we're all falling apart.
And how do you get more fiber in your diet? That's the real one.
That's right. That's it. Right. We're going this time. We are going. He's not going to do it again. Dear viewer, wherever you're in the world, thanks very much for being with us. I really do appreciate it. And it does feel like a group of friends. Wouldn't it be nice for when the lottery we could all get together in some field and fly somewhere? That'd be fantastic. Look after yourselves wherever you are in the world. We'll see you again next week, 2100 GMT, for a rant of nonsense. Cheers, everyone.